Skilling is getting a massive overhaul in the coming years in RuneScape, with all the skills being turned into 110 skills instead of 99s over the coming years in small batches with 2 skills paired together, the first one being mining and smithing and the second one being fletching and woodcutting. But what does that mean for RuneScape and how can they actually improve skilling? As I personally think, which I talked about in the previous video before, skilling in RuneScape 3 kind of sucks because everything is AFK. It's pretty much the same thing, you just get different experience in different skills, but at the end of the day you're still doing nothing. And I think that's an issue, and I really hope that this update can fix it, and I want to talk about it in this video. So if you do enjoy it, leave a like, comment, join the discussion down below, subscribe, and let's talk about it. Before we get into the meat and bones of this discussion, I kind of want to go over the reason why they're doing 110s instead of 120s. Because at first sight, when I heard about it, I was kind of indifferent to it, because it felt a bit inconsistent to me, as of course we have some 120 skills, and every new skill that has been coming out since Dungeoneering pretty much has been 120, besides of course Divination. And it felt weird that they went to 110, but then I read their explanation, because there's 2 very good reasons why they do this. First of all, if they go to 110 instead of 120 straight away, it also makes the content that comes at 110, 105, whatever, more relevant, and relevant for longer. Because let's be honest, if you turn anything in 120, whatever is at 110 will quickly become irrelevant as soon as you reach 115 or 120, whichever tier system they're actually going to be using, which right now they're looking at every 10 levels, but there's also something level 100, and I'm curious if they're gonna add something at 105. I really would like that, but we'll have to wait and see. It's mainly I like that because of the experience gaps that are there at higher levels compared to 99. But that's just my point of view, and that is nothing really to do with the discussion. But the other reason is also that in the time they can do 120, they can do 2 110s. And I kind of like that combination of having more relevant content in the game for pretty much the same development time it would be for 120s. I kind of like that idea. It's more content for us to do, and I like the idea of going to 110 first and then them adding 120 to everything, because let's be honest, if this system works, they could just build upon it in the future. Now, the skills that they picked, yet again, at first made no sense to me, because woodcutting and fletching made sense, they are coming on later on this year, but they also picked mining and smithing, which in my eyes, and in my opinion, and I think many people's opinion, and also in Jackex's opinion, is one of the best designed skills, probably after archaeology, when it comes to progression, because every 10 levels you unlock something useful, and the new trading method at any level is the best trading method that you can do, of course, especially on the main if you have money for it. But then, yet again, their explanation is, because it's already well laid out, and it's not a 110 yet in this case, we have room to build upon it a lot easier, because everything beforehand is already laid out perfectly. And they're going to use mining and smithing as more of a tester for all the other skills. I like that idea, and it makes sense. But hey ho, that actually brings me onto something that I think that this update needs. Because I think this is a great chance to make skilling great again in RuneScape 3, as I just think that it kind of sucks at the moment. Like I said in the intro, everything kind of turned into very AFK methods, and even if there are active methods for certain skills, they're only just marginally better than AFKing, so why on earth would you put in that extra time to get that little bit more experience when you can just do nothing at all? And all skills are turning AFK, especially with proteins. They are a big issue, and of course will never be deleted because Jagex makes money of it. But even all the other just main methods, it's just AFK, and it sucks. And there's another big issue within RuneScape, and that doesn't go for all skills, which this entire discussion is difficult to have because there's no one size fits all solution to all the skills. But let's take woodcutting for example. Woodcutting is a great example of a skill where I think the way you train it makes no sense regarding what is best in slot. I think the highest tier tree should always be the best experience, because you get a level and it needs to mean something. When you unlock U trees or magic trees or elder trees, even after the update from last year, it means nothing. Because you still want to do crystallized mahoganies, which I know is quite expensive, if you want the best experience rates, and also golden bamboo. But I think in general the arc sucks because it's pretty much like a daily. Sure, it's the best experience an hour, but you can't camp it indefinitely unless you go island hopping, and then it already affects your experience rates, and it just kind of sucks in my opinion. Like, if I want to trade woodcutting, I want to trade woodcutting. I don't want to go island hopping, for example. And I think that is an issue. Why are elder trees not the best best experience in game? Well, because you make money out of it, is Jagex's way of thinking. But who is cutting elder logs for money? Someone maybe is, don't get me wrong, but it just makes no sense. Like, why would you unlock it? Sure, it's like a little money maker, but you're pretty much stuck at the same tree from like level 56 onwards or something. And it makes it boring, in my opinion. And that goes for some other skills as well. But yet again, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Some skills are inherently just AFK or boring in their core design. So you can maybe fix it with like a skilling boss, like for example fire making, like have something like Wintertot from old school RuneScape to fix quote-unquote fire making. But from the core design, there isn't much you can do to make it fun. Because quite frankly, well, to be fair, we have the dino activity, and that is pretty decent. But yet again, core design. If you want to design something, you need to design like a minigame-esque or like a different type of activity to the actual core skilling activity. But AFK and active skilling is also a huge discussion, as like I said, there is many reasons to never do any active skilling method, because most of them kind of suck in general, like for example catching scarabs or fishing frenzy. Sure, they might be better experience than their AFK alternative, but yet again, it's just clicking. It's very boring. Why is it not a fun activity? Why is it not like a little skilling boss minigame like Temporos, for example, in RuneScape 3? And I know we're getting a skilling boss, we don't know the skills, but I really hope that those bosses that come out, the skilling boss, sorry, not bosses, the skilling boss comes out, that it actually gets you some decent experience. Because Croesus, for example, gives you terrible experience besides Hunter, but they nerfed that. And their reasoning is, well, you make money, which I understand, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Croesus should be the best experience in the game, but it should be decent experience. And right now, it quite frankly isn't. Even if you have best installed everything, it's just terrible experience compared to anything else you can do. I think something like Croesus, which is a skilling boss of course, and you make money off, should be like 70% of the best experience rates. And right now, it simply just isn't. And that is something that I think is a big issue in RuneScape, as it is right now, is fun equals less experience. Like, oh, because you have fun, we can give you less experience. And I think that is bad. Why can't I have fun and also get some of the best experience rates in the game? But that's just not the case right now. Like, take something like Big Game Hunter. Big Game Hunter is fun, and sure, you make money with it, but then again, there's also skill required, and it's actually engaging and interesting content. It's good experience, but why is it not one of the absolute best training methods? It's good, but it's not up there with the absolute best. And there are probably more activities that I can't think of that I can rant about for another like 10 minutes that fall in that same category that might be fun but have no relevance due to, well, besides maybe money making or achievements or whatever it might be, then it's just confusing. Like, why can't I have fun and also gain experience? Like, at a actual decent rate, right? Like, as I said, I'm okay with 70-80% experience of like the best method. Instead, the best method is probably AFK or very close to being AFK, and it makes no sense to me, right? Like, why are we in that mindset? And I think that also goes for like the methods that they are introducing. I don't think you should just introduce an active method because it's active, but try and make something fun. And of course, not everything can be fun, but at least make it rewarding in some sort of way. Let me cook banquets at the fort and hand in all the fish to the cook for a big experience drop in exchange for not getting any fish back. Or let me do some hunter contracts where it's pretty much Slayer but Hunter. which is a feature in old school RuneScape, and it's so much fun. It is up there with some of the best training methods. It is not the best training method, but it's definitely up there. You get some good supplies, and it's just such great game design. And we're just missing these things in RuneScape 3, and that would just make skilling so much more fun in my opinion. Because I love skilling. I just don't like skilling in RuneScape 3. Because, yet again, I like to get some of the best experience rates in exchange for whatever I need to put in. But in most cases, I don't have to put in anything besides some money. And I have plenty of that in RuneScape 3. And it just... I really hope that this update revitalizes skilling and makes it something interesting. It's such a missed opportunity with like the Woodcutter's Grove as well, to introduce something similar to old school RuneScape's Forestry, which is a very engaging way of training woodcutting where these random events start spawning and you need to interact with them and need to do that with people around it. It creates a community around woodcutting and makes it a social experience, but it's also really good experience and it's also a lot of fun. And it's also a nice distraction from just boringly cutting trees. But we just have to wait and see. I just hope that the mindset around skilling changes a little bit within Jagex to, yeah, you can have fun, you can make money, but you can also get some decent experience rates. Because yet again, I'm not sitting here saying that, oh, if you have fun, you make a lot of money, you should also be getting the best experience rates in game. But then again, you can also think, if it is the best experience rates in game, everyone is going to do it, so the money will be a lot less good there. Because if you really think about it, Crows having the best in slot magic armor at the time kinda didn't make sense. Of course, tank armor, but still, with Animate Dead being so powerful at the time, it was some of the best in slot armor. It just kinda doesn't make sense. So even designing the rewards around it, if you make it less impactful to, for example, PVM, and just have like, I don't know, the skilling offhands and something else that really benefits skilling as a reward, then you can actually make it good experience an hour. I understand they didn't do it with Croesus, because then everyone would probably be doing it and those drops would be dropping and it would be way too accessible, which they probably didn't want. But yes, I just hope that they step away from the mindset of, oh, it's fun, you don't need good experience rates. No, give me something fun that is good experience rate and that I need to interact with, or even if it's an AFK activity, make it rewarding in some way, shape or form. Even if it's something like a, you know, extra pet that you can get from it, or if you can do like the banquet activity that I just described. Like anything that is just out of the slur of just doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and just make it a little bit different in any way, shape or form. But that's just my opinion. As you can tell, I'm really passionate and I could probably talk about it for like another 10 minutes, but I won't. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. My name's Chevalric. See you guys in my next video.